My name is Hao Nguyen. I'm the Division Director for our Trials Division and Appellate Division. I work for John Choi, our Ramsey County Attorney-elect. We're in St. Paul. The river that splits us is the Mississippi River to Minneapolis, which is Hennepin County. So our two jurisdictions are the largest jurisdictions. So our office has about 370 or so employees, and we have about 110 lawyers. And our recruitment or applications have definitely gotten up and better. So I think overall, it's at least the applications are going up, and people aren't just not showing up for their interviews anymore. Yeah, what a strange world. So quickly, just a level set in Minnesota as of 2022, there was about 10 to 18% of lawyers in Minnesota who were people of color. And that's according to Minnesota Coalition of Bar Associations of Color. Our population in Minnesota is about 5.79 million. And approximately of that population, we have about 33,000 lawyers back in 2024. Again, when because my presentation is about race and retention and diverse staff retention, specifically by race and ethnicity, the numbers are hard to find actually, because the best I could find was 2017, 2016. Data collected during 2016, at least the registration process, breaks it down in the sense that there were 589 Asian lawyers, African American lawyers, about 467, Hispanic, Latinx, 252, Native American, Alaskan, 101, and multiracial, 243. These stats are difficult because they're self-reported stats. So there are people who don't want to report, or there are people who just will report in mixed buckets too. So this is just a rough number, but it kind of goes to show you that when we talk about recruitment or retaining diverse staff, we don't have a lot to begin with in the first place. So that's always a concern. When we talk about Minnesota, why an exact number is unavailable. This is the voluntary reporting. So, and then also, but what we do know and what is true is that diversity is lagging in Minnesota. And our profession, especially lawyers, has been lagging for years. There is some hint of progress, at least with young lawyers, but I do know, just anecdotally speaking with lawyers that I mentor of color, they're looking to go to Chicago. They're looking to go to California. I'm never going to let them see that Brooklyn Center recruitment video, not ever. So that's going to just never going to be available to anybody in Minnesota. All right. When we talk about Ramsey County, our population, so in Minnesota, our largest county attorneys, district attorneys populations are Hennepin and Ramsey. And then we have Washington, Anoka, and Dakota. So I'm really proud to be able to lead an office with the direction of John Choi, having the second largest jurisdiction. So our population in terms of that, it's about 551,000. And then we have Hennepin and Minneapolis, which is about double of that. When we talk about Asian and Black lawyer population, again, 589 active lawyers were identified as Asian. And in 2017, about 467 African Americans. I will tell you there are only, because I'm Vietnamese and Chinese, there are only 70 licensed Vietnamese attorneys in the state of Minnesota, period. That's it. And when we talk about our Somali population, we have a large Somali population here in Minnesota. We have one Somali prosecutor in the entire state, and he works here in this office. So we're still at that place in time where we're talking like, we can count on one hand. This is the type of thing that we're dealing with. So, for me, I worry about the retention of those diverse staff that are already here. I want to keep them, let alone recruiting them, right? Okay, so what are we doing? Okay, so that giant picture, that's a TikTok. I didn't want to show the rest of it because I don't think it was necessarily appropriate, but it was funny. When public defenders in Minnesota finally get salary matches to prosecutors, right? So for a long time, and completely accurate, public defenders were not paid, I think, well or enough. Public defenders are in our system are a state system. So the public defenders get paid all the same, regardless if you're in Duluth, which is near Canada, or down here, right, which is a really populous jurisdiction. So you're handling way more cases, but you're getting paid the same as the public defender in Duluth, who might have a much lower caseload. So overnight, the Minnesota legislator, our lawmakers, set the salaries of public defenders. So overnight, the entire state, some public defenders received a $30,000 increase. So they went to work one day, they were making 110, the next day they were making 140, like overnight.
You have 5 minutes.
Yep. So thank you so much. So like overnight, they got like $30,000 raise. Now every prosecutor isn't a state-run district. So I work for Ramsey County for John Choi, who's elected in Ramsey County. That's our district. Well, our salaries are based on our commissioners and our levy and all of that stuff. So you can imagine that overnight, when all the public defenders got an increase, all the counties couldn't move that quickly, and we have separate budgets. So it was very, very strange overnight to have prosecutors be making much less than their public defender counterparts. And that caused a huge issue, especially for retention, right? Because a lot of people were coming in with student debt, student loans, trying to buy a house, start a family, like all those things, as we know, right? So we had to work really hard for a year or so to negotiate with our county board, and then got our people an increase. That increase was wonderful. It helped retention for sure and recruitment, because we can pay you now. So please come with us, come work for us. We can pay you now, so please stay, right? That's one part of it. But what happened was they turned around the county and said, that big raise that we negotiated, it's coming out of your guys' budget for the next calendar levy year. So we ended up with a deficit of a few $1,000,000 that we had to deal with. So that also cost us some money. Yeah, our salary increase was a big deal. We tried to hire our interns and our law students. We created a pathways program, so we guarantee that we will hire at least one or two of our law students, no matter what, as licensed attorneys when they graduate law school and pass the bar, if they've worked for us as a law clerk. So that's really important. We try to give special assignments when they're owed and when they're due, and when we know that they can serve and do a good job at them. So we want to uplift people and allow them to stay because they have a special assignment. We out of the frying pan in the fire. I think a lot of us was talking about that when we first started. Nell, I really love the fact that you're still like, you know what? Sometimes you just got to get in it and get after it. For us, we found it was actually we survived that way when I first started, but for us, we have brand new, because our bench isn't deep in terms of hiring, right? So now we've got brand new students coming right out of law school. And we're only a felony office, so I should make that distinction. We only handle felony level offenses unless it's our juvenile jurisdiction. So we have the city attorney's office that does misdemeanors. So all we have are felony level offenses. So we are really careful about being able to just throw someone in, because it just kind of comes at a felony level cost. So what we do is we have created a training program, like an in-house trial school. So for 2 weeks to 3 weeks, you don't really do anything other than you have a schedule. It's opening statements, closing arguments, how to get something in, and we literally had to create our own training program, because for many years we really were able to pick and choose from other jurisdictions where they did the training, they did the misdemeanor work, and then they finally got the experience enough to apply here to our office. And then we could hire them. But we've had to sort of switch that paradigm. And in many ways, we've had to protect our younger attorneys from not being able to just walk down the hall and someone says, hey, I've got a murder case, you're with me now doing an opening statement. Because actually we found that some people really hate that. It's super stressful, and then they want to quit. So it's always a balance, right? It's always a balance. We bought a new building. We bought a new building because our old building was really bad and it was not a good environment to work in. And also we were separated in several different divisions throughout different buildings, and we didn't feel a continuity of culture and people. So we bought a new building, and now every one of us are in the same building with the exception of our charging desk. So I'm really proud of that.
You have 1 minute.
Thank you. We have a Nori Golden support dog who walks around and helps victims as well, but gets a lot of petting from a lot of our coworkers. So that's really, really great. We created a respectful workplace program and training program where I think that's really changed the culture of our office. So not I'm the most important because I do all the homicides. I'm not the most important because I do all the sexual assaults. It's really level set, and that program and training of a respectful workplace is mandatory. All right. So we're leading by example. We encourage diversity. We lean into our community, and John Choi is right there. And so what we do is we make sure that culturally, every time we can get a group together and celebrate a group, we will do that. And that goes for more than just our Asian American group. We try to keep up nationwide, right, with the National Asian Prosecutors Association, the Mabel Association. So that's our African American bar. There's other things like that. So we will always send people to retention, recruitment, and different types of galas that involve our minority groups and affinity groups. Because we are a division within the larger Ramsey County, we're the Ramsey County Attorney's Office, we have found that it was really important to sort of tell people what our expectations of the culture and the respectful nature of our culture in our office should be. So an end to gossiping, right? Things that aren't good, an end to bullying, or gaslighting people. I mean, this is a sort of a policy that is pretty big and wide and far-reaching, and the union actually had some issues with it, and we worked with the union to kind of like make sure that it was appropriate. But ultimately, it is a whole set of expectations about how to treat people well, about how to allow people to come to the office as they are, while also maintaining and meeting our business need. And then you can imagine that was a hard policy to write. It took us a good year and a half, almost 2 years to write it, and then for us to launch it within our office. But I can say that we're really proud because as we started launching in our office, our greater human resources division of the entire Ramsey County conglomerate looked at this and said, wow, that's really good work. And we would like to adopt that as the entire policy for all of Ramsey County. So Parks and Rec, buildings and maintenance, all of it, right? Auditing, all of that. So it's not just our policy now, it's the entire county's policy. And we have to do a training on it every year, and we have to do a certification on it. So I'm just really proud of that work.